Today I'm going to talk about mental disorders, but more in depth than what I did before. So when you smoke cannabis, uh, or do cocaine, it goes to a level that you stoned or high. After excessive usage of this drug, it gives you the inability to think properly, so it stops you from being able to think. So it stops you from being able to process information properly. So all this information that you process is forced into other areas of the brain, so 10% brain power is forced into other areas of the brain, greatly enhancing it. Now, if you can't think, you can't survive. Your brain is wired on its survival. Now let me explain this. Now your emotions, feelings, uh, things you like, they all, they run you. They draw you into things that you like doing for learning, and you're taking this information, and it's created inside the mind. And all these things, these emotions, they run you through your learning, and this is all run off your memory. Everything is run off your memory. If you didn't have a memory, you wouldn't be able to remember anything. And this is how we learn. We remember what we learn, and it goes into the brain, and it becomes subconscious or whatever. So everything is run off your memory. So you use your sort of short-term memory the most. And use your short-term memory to have conversations, and you sort of learn from these conversations, have better conversations maybe, or and you enjoy conversations because we are social creatures, and this is why we enjoy it, for learning, and it may be to attract females maybe, or things like that. So what else? So your emotions, they draw you into learning for your survival, so you learn how to do things. And it's the same thing as 2000 years ago. You learn how to throw a harpoon, or you learn how to make fire. So you need to learn to sort of survive. For this information, your brain's wired on its own survival. So, as I was saying, the emotions draw into things, and it goes into your memory. So you might have an Xbox or whatever, it goes into your memory, and you learn how to do things. So you might like wrestling, all these sorts of things, and your emotions sort of draw you into this sort of thing. So your memory, everything's run off your memory, as I said before. So you might have a memory to do something, and you put over it. So your short-term memory, if you use a conversation, you put over there and put over, that's to coordinate what you're doing. So self-control. So this is why you have no sort of feeling of self-control, because everything comes from your memory. You remember what to do in certain situations, or not situations, but you remember what to do with everything you're doing to coordinate what you're doing. So if this ain't processing, you'll have no self-control. So that's your memory. So your emotions, they draw you into learning, to learn things for your survival. Yeah, so this is sort of why you need this process of information for learning. Otherwise you do become sitting down because you're surrounded by others all the time. Yeah, so this is sort of, so the voices. So voices in your head, this might be memories of some earlier things that happened earlier in the day, so that maybe you sort of needed to remember of something or someone said. And this all originates from the sort of, so yeah, as I was saying, you need this. This is why you're getting these voices in your head, because this is sort of information that you sort of needed to register before. And this is not being processed. And this is why you're getting vicious circles in your brain, and this is your brain trying to sort of think. So your emotions, they build up This is why you're getting the sensations in your brain. It's because you need these emotions for learning. And this is also connected with memory, and it goes into your memory, as I said before. So this is why the information is sort of building up in your brain and creating these pressures, because your brain is a physical thing with a piece of flesh inside your head, with these sort of informations that go through your brain, um, and they build up on your brain because they need to be processed for your learning. You need to learn, and your brain is wired on this. Your personality is also processed through this level. So this is sort of the loss of sort of personality thing. You feel like you've lost your personality. This is also processed through this level, and this is also where your empathies are, your personality. So, interpretations of reality. Now, your reality is sort of everything around you, and it's interpreted through your eyes, your nose, your ears, and your mouth. There's nothing actually going in your brain, but it is processed through the eyes of everything around you or your ears. So, and these are by the microprocessors inside your cerebellum that creates these pieces of information that you register, and these will come together to create a piece of information from maybe your emotions or your memory. So if this is not sort of being processed properly, it can give you funny tastes, funny smells, or sort of seeing things that are not there, or maybe interpreting things or sort of not interpreting things properly. Um, so the depression, like this is why you're sort of so depressed. It's because so psychotically depressed because your emotions ain't processing properly, and a lot of most of the thing that you rely on, that you get your happiness from, is from this process of information, all looking good at this age. We're not looking good. This process of information you rely on, and this is what can cause in some people massive anxiety because of the short-term memory. Now, you should use your short-term memory a hell of a lot, and if you can't use it and give off a good impression, maybe a good impression, if you're a young lad like me, you're basing an impression that can cause this massive anxiety because you haven't got the short-term memory to sort of call it, and this heightened like so upper processors that your 10% brain power has been forced into is greatly enhancing it, and this other information is going into other areas of the brain to do your own survival, because as again your brain is wired on your survival. So 2000 years ago it might have been learning how to throw a harpoon at something for your survival, so it's still the same sort of thing, if you know what I mean. So this is why you're psychotically depressed, because you've lost everything in your life, and it is very upsetting. So these tiny little combinations of information that form together, that may be from your memory positions when you run off your memory, words, everything. So let me explain like sort of a logical explanation of something. So you might have an intelligent thing, a piece of intelligence, and it comes together, and if it's not added to properly, it can give you sort of unadded thought of information. Now the reason for this is if it has an added logic added to it, then you can sort of, if you can go around looking for the logical evidence for information to make this sort of information logical. So these informations can form together, or maybe sort of later in life, something logical that makes sense to that, and you remember it and it'll make it logical. See what I mean? And this is, see how everything is run off your memory and the self-control thing, and having no control over what you're doing. Uh, so no control because you use your memory for yourself to you use your memory to pick something up or to have a conversation with someone with all this memory of certain information come across. So self-control, you might pick something up and you put it over there and you use your memory to do things, to sort of coordinate what you're doing and remember where something is. See what I mean? So, and these tiny sort of liquid representations of information that go through your brain stop being processed. So, you need this process for learning so you can succeed in life, to attract females and sort of make your happiness, because this is what made you happy before. It made you happy before because what you were doing was in your sort of nature. This is all working for you, and this is what I mean by the brain's wired on its survival. So this is why this is a huge panic, because your brain's letting you know that there's something seriously wrong with you. So I've looked it up, and you can cure it by dissolving THCs off the brain. So what I mean by this is so THC. So when you take THC, like eventually, your brain it's going to get too much for your brain if you're excessively doing this, and constantly messing up your brain. This is going to happen. So what's the definition of mental disorder? Now, mental disorder is an actual thing. So if someone was invading a tribe, so I'm talking about war here, so you could look at it as like someone invading the tribe. It can cause the same sort of stresses and create some sort of problem and make you sort of go psychotic. So psychotic for your sort of survival of what's happening, and it can create the same sort of problem. So it is there for a reason. Now this is why you should not smoke so we can cure it. So it should be avoided. You can cure the mental illness. So the alcohol thing. Now alcohol sort of dissolves THC and can allow some of these emotions to come through, and huge anger and everything like that. So as I was saying, these emotions build up in the brain. So in a nutshell, this is why this is all happening. These emotions, these memories, these vicious circles, the emotion creating sensations in your brain, creating huge pressures on your brain, because your brain's a physical thing and they're trying to process because they need to be processed for learning purpose. You need to learn for your survival, and this is why it's being forced in your brain. This process is not going to stop, and this is what your brain is wired on. So I'm going to talk about emotions now. So your emotions. So you might be amazed by something, you might be interested in it, reacts with your consciousness, and you're like, oh my god, and you sort of learn about it and you enjoy it, and when you get bored of it, you learned enough about it. And this is the same. This is with everyone, depending on the interest in your physical brain. Depends on your different interests, and it reacts with your consciousness, and you're like, oh my god. So this is why you can sort of get this feeling of death if this is sort of not happening. Yeah. So it is curable. You dissolve the THC off the brain, which is causing the problem. It will allow the natural process of the information. So that's mental disorder for you. That's it in a nutshell. Oh yeah, reality. So your reality is sort of not being interpreted properly. It's not being processed properly by the microprocessors in the brain. Now, time in reality. Your reality is sort of defined by time, by clocks and sort of knowing what the time is. So you might remember what time it is, and you remember what duration you're doing something, maybe. So you can lose the interpretation of time because you're so depressed and you're not sort of keeping an eye on it. And it's the same with a dog. They don't have an interpretation of time because they don't need to, because they're fed with time and they just lay around doing nothing. It's why dogs have no interpretation of time. So yeah, so mental illness can be cured. What else? So yeah, if I can explain. So this is why you're so psychotically depressed and you have no empathy, is because your personality is not being processed. Uh, these emotions are building up in the brain that need to be processed but can't because of the THC in your brain. This can give you, this is why you're so depressed, because you've lost everything and you use this process a hell of a lot for most of the time for your happiness and sort of coordinating what you're doing in your life and learning and having conversations for your short-term memory. And this is what, as I said, can cause a massive anxiety because it's not working properly either. Positions run off your memory, and all this information comes together, and you get a reaction from someone when they're saying something, and it all comes together in this level, and is created, and then and this happens very quickly, and then you say something, and you get a reaction. So you this is why you're so psychotically depressed, because of this physical thing that's happened to your brain. So as I say again, dissolve THC off the brain, or the drug that's on your brain, and you should be fine.